Hey guys, it's Elise and welcome back to My Cupcake Addiction. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make my super simple Cheats fruit flan, also known as a fruit tart. The things you're going to need to make your incredibly easy and utterly delicious fruit flan: I've got some whole milk, I've got some crushed cookies. Now you can use any kind of a white cookie that you like, graham crackers, I'm using milk arrowroots, whatever you can find. I've got some pudding mix. This is going to be the way that we cheat today and don't have to spend ages making custards and all the different bases. And I've also got a selection of fruit. So my fruit, I've gone with mangoes and blueberries and strawberries because they're in season at the moment, and a little bit of mint for that hint of green, and a little bit of melted butter. I'm going to present my tart today in a nice long fluted pan that's got like a removable base, and that's going to help me get it out really easily because the base on this is going to be a little fragile. We're not going to bake it, it's that easy. Let's get started. First up, 2 ingredients, our butter and our cookies, and we're going to make a no-bake base for our tart. So I'm just going to pour over the butter and stir it through. If you're looking for all of the measurements, quantities and conversions for today's recipe, I'm going to leave it on the MyCupcakeAddiction.com website, and you should be able to go there, print the recipe out and keep it because you're going to want to make this all the time. This is one of those recipes that everybody presumes you've been spending ages making, and you can really whip it up in about 15 minutes. It's the ultimate cheats dessert. Some cookies might be a little bit more thirsty than others. I've got a couple of brands of cookie that just soak up the butter, and I don't know if it's because they're a little more shortbready, but what you're looking for is a consistency almost like a cake pop dough or a very sort of a light cookie dough. You want it to hold its own shape together. So if you need to adjust your butter quantity a little bit and add a little more, definitely feel free to do so. You don't want a dry base. I'm going to put that base nice and evenly into my tart shell, and I like a fair bit of base when I make a tart, whether it's a cheesecake, whether it's a s'mores pie, whatever it is. I cannot get enough cookie base. It's going to look like a lot, but we're going to press it down, and once we press it down, it's going to be quite a lot less. The trick to a really nice, neat edge is to make sure that you're pushing your cookie base up and over, and then we can use a knife to trim it off, and that's how you get that really nice kind of wavy edge that you see in restaurants and bakeries. I'm going to use the base of a cup just to make sure I've got a really nice, tight, compacted base, and also to kind of press it into the sides. And then I'm just going to take a knife and just kind of run it along the outside edge. You can let it fall outside or inside, but if you let it fall inside, you need to smooth it back off again. You can see that even though we had a mountain of cookie, once it's all pressed down, trimmed off, neatened up, it's really not too much base. Just enough if you ask me. So my pudding mix says that I should be using 700 mils per mix, but I'm going to take it down by 1/3. So I've only got a litre for 2 pudding mixes. You want this to be quite a nice thick pudding, so whatever your pudding packet mixture calls for, take it down by 1/3 when it comes to adding that milk. I'm going to pour the milk into the bowl first because I don't want lumpy pudding. And then as I'm whisking, I'm going to sprinkle my pudding mixture over the top. You want to make sure you definitely keep whisking here or it will get lumpy. I have experience in this. With pudding, you've generally got about 5 minutes until it starts to set. It starts to set quite quickly, so you want to get it into your base before it starts to set. Make sure that you've got no lumps, and then I'm going to pour it back into my jug, and then I'm going to use the jug to pour it into the pan so that I get a really nice, neat fit rather than trying to pour it out of that big, wide bowl. And in it goes. Give it a nice tap. All right, we're going to put that in the fridge for 15 minutes and let that pudding completely set before we put any fruit on top. The great thing about this recipe, you can use flavoured pudding if you want. You can use coloured pudding, you can use something like a pistachio or a strawberry, depending on what your favourite flavours are. Once your tart's all set, all you need to do now is layer the fruit. So I cut my mango kind of into these like little half circles, and I'm just going to layer that on first to kind of section it out because I want to make sure that my guests get a nice piece in each bite. When you guys are choosing your fruit for this, go with whatever's in season, but try to pick a nice assortment of colour. So I've got my yellow in my mango, I've got some red, some blue, and then that little bit of green in the mint. The more colourful, the more inviting your fruit flan or fruit tart's going to be. On go our strawberries. And then finally, I'm going to fill in all my little gaps and pile it high with blueberries. And then finally, to finish off, just a couple of sprigs of green. I've got the green on there for my strawberries too, but I always love how fresh mint is, especially in something like a fruit salad. So it's going to be the perfect accompaniment flavour-wise to my fruit tart. We're done. That is your no-bake 15-minute fruit tart. I love how simple this is, but more importantly, I love how everybody thinks that it took me a lot longer to make than it actually did. Before you serve that to your guests, you want to make sure that you put it in the fridge for about an hour to let that base completely set and let that butter firm again. So you can just pop it straight out of your little springform base, serve it up, and let everybody be amazed at your prowess in the kitchen. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure you do for 2 new videos every week. If you want to see more no-bake baking ideas, I will leave a link to the no-bake playlist down below. And as always, guys, thanks very much for watching.